imagine you are like trying to resolve a really bitter argument with your sibling, right? And to figure out what to do, you just pull out a calculator to tally up the net utility of your actions.
Yeah, I mean, that would be pretty weird.
Or maybe you consult this rigid, completely impartial set of universal laws. It sounds a bit absurd. Because traditional moral philosophy often treats you like some rational, independent robot interacting in a public square.
Right, but today we're bringing ethics right into your messy, emotional living room. Welcome to our deep dive into Chapter 8 of Lewis Vaughn's textbook, Doing Ethics.
And the mission today is to really explore feminist ethics and the ethics of care. We want to see how these frameworks radically shift our understanding of, well, what it actually means to be a moral person.
Exactly. It is a huge shift from that public square to the living room.
Okay, let's unpack this. Traditional ethics focuses heavily on abstract principles, things like strict autonomy, maximizing utility, absolute impartiality.
Basically a strict rule book.
Yeah, it acts almost like a city traffic code designed for strangers navigating public life. And a traffic code is great for a busy intersection, sure. But how does that rigid rule book help you deal with, say, a complicated family dispute?
Well, it really does not.
Yeah.
If you look at the historical context Vaughan lays out, traditional ethics was heavily dominated by men.
Right.
And they focused moral philosophy on the public sphere where they operated. So the domestic realm, like the home, child rearing, family dynamics, it was basically treated as a moral dead zone.
Wow, just completely ignored.
Exactly. And feminist ethics flips that entirely. It focuses on women's experiences to bring moral scrutiny to areas that were historically overlooked. Suddenly, we have a framework to evaluate the justice of the domestic division of labor.
Oh, that makes sense.
Or even the realities of domestic power dynamics and abuse, which, abstract theories often just ignored because they occurred in private.
I do struggle with this a bit, though. I mean, if we drop those strict, impartial rules in our personal lives, what replaces them?
That is the big question.
Right, because if I just rely on sympathy or pure emotion to make moral choices, does not that mean I will only act morally toward people I personally like? That sounds incredibly biased and honestly a recipe for emotional chaos.
What's fascinating here is that care ethics intentionally rejects the idea that emotions are chaos. Traditional ethics sees emotion as the enemy of reason,
Yeah, you have to be totally objective.
Right. But care ethics argues that real humans are non-ideal. We are complicated and, frankly, sometimes irrational. Emotions are actually vital tools here.
Wait, really? Tools for what?
Well, think about it. Pure abstract logic might tell you to prioritize a stranger over your own child if it maximizes overall societal utility.
Right, that is the classic utilitarian calculation that makes literally everyone uncomfortable.
Precisely. But care ethics says your emotional response, like your love and loyalty to your child, that is not a bias to be overcome. It is actually a moral compass.
So the emotion itself is part of the ethic.
Exactly. Emotions alert us to moral evil, and they motivate empathy. So instead of calculating utility, ethics becomes about cultivating virtues, things like compassion, faithfulness, and sympathy within our close relationships.
So you don't ignore the stranger, but you also don't pretend you lack a profound moral duty to your family.
You nailed it.
And recognizing that messy reality exposes what the text suggests is a massive blind spot in traditional ethics, like this illusion that we are all entirely independent.
Oh, absolutely. The sources highlight philosopher Virginia Held, and she points to a crucial concept here, which is dependency.
Right, because traditional ethics acts like we are all just floating in a vacuum.
Totally independent, fully rational agents just making free choices. It completely ignores the extensive human experience of dependence. I mean, everyone needs care at some point.
Yeah, you start life as a dependent infant.
You might face illness or disability, and you will very likely need care in old age.
Here's where it gets really interesting. When psychologist Carol Gilligan first researched this, she noticed that men often leaned toward an ethic of justice, focusing on rights and rules.
Right, the traditional stuff.
Yeah, while women leaned toward an ethic of care. But she actually later rejected that rigid gender split.
And philosopher Annette C. Baer takes it a step further in the text. She concludes that justice and care are both necessary.
Oh, so they aren't mutually exclusive.
Not at all. They aren't inherently linked to your gender either. They're just two halves of a complete moral life. Because if you only have justice, you get a cold, detached society.
And if you only have care, you might lose sight of fairness on a larger scale.
Exactly. Synthesizing the two reframes how we value human connection. We aren't isolated robots, we are deeply intertwined.
So what does this all mean? For you listening right now, it means that your everyday acts of care, like helping a sick friend, looking after an aging relative, or just soothing a crying toddler, they aren't just chores.
Or just biological obligations,
Yeah, exactly. They are profound moral actions. The living room is just as morally significant as the courtroom.
The relationships that sustain us are the very foundation of our moral lives. They're not just footnotes to our public achievements.
I love that. And that leaves us with a final question for you to ponder.
Let's hear it.
If traditional ethics assumed everyone was an independent, rational actor, how would our society, our laws, and our workplaces fundamentally change if they were redesigned around the undeniable truth that dependency is a universal human condition?